Thank you very much to Kirsty down at the Met office. Just run through that race schedule again for us, Christy, if you can just get it to hand for me, if you have that email somewhere, please.
Yes, I can, yeah. So the roads are due to close from 9:15 from Burrell Park, and then at 10 o'clock for the rest of the course. At 10:45, we've got the Monster Energy Super Sport race. At 12:45, the SES TT Zero race. At 2:10, the Bennett's Lightweight TT race. At 3:55, sidecar qualifying, and at 4:10, the Senior TT qualifying. Interesting, just hearing Kirsty say great conditions for racing again today, and we've been so fortunate with the weather. What does it do to you then as a racer when you wake up in the morning and you see the rain? I know some people are going to obviously enjoy the wet roads, but around the TT course, what does that do to you, Keith?
Keep you in bed for an extra hour.
Don't ask Keith about the rain and Union Mills.
Yeah, I had a few little ups and downs due to the weather, but yeah, thankfully they've kind of. The clerk of the course that's in charge now, he's very switched on when it comes to weather conditions, so I think it's a little bit easier now than back when I done it, because mind you, it was worse than when you done it. You used to get sent out when it was pouring down, didn't you?
That production race you in that was held over till
No. You're talking earlier about delays and stuff. I remember being sat here. We were supposed to be first race out in the morning, and it was half an hour delay, so it's come back down again and be like, we're going to have to have a 2 hour delay.
Yeah.
Half an hour delay, so you'd be up and down. I think we got out something like 7 o'clock in the evening. It was 7 o'clock evening on the Friday. It was, and it was raining all the way around the circuit. And it was the last ever wet race around the circuit. Actually.
I just can't imagine that.
But that big production race you were in on
that was the one. I started number one on the road. And I didn't see anybody the whole day. The whole race.
Perfect.
But I was literally just riding like a Sunday afternoon with the boys, just dead smooth, just getting the thing upright, getting on the power, nothing, no big crazy lean angles, and it was ace. I was just following my pit boards. It was brilliant. So.
Going to look at today's races, Christy, now. I know we've got loads of questions coming in. Super Sport Race 1, 17 minutes, 31.32, 129.197 for Michael Dunlop. John Barton, new reaction to that. That's incredible on a 600, isn't it?
It is. You just can't, as we were saying earlier on, it's hard to believe it's possible. But, when Michael's on that sort of form and he's got that sort of team behind him, that's what he's capable of doing. He always finds that extra bit when he really has to, and it's there, and it's just in his character, and he's just like he's like a little terrier, and once he's got his mind set on something, that's it. He's just completely focused on it. And who's to say we won't see the first 130 lap on a 600?
He said he could do it. He said in the interview after he said, I think 130 is possible. Yeah. So he's got to take, I think, about another, I can't remember the exact permutations. We'll let the guys do that upstairs. I don't do all figures and numbers and things like that. But it's incredible to think, Richard, they can do 129 and a bit on a 600, isn't it?
I mean, ultimately, he loves riding the 600 as well.
And it's his bike.
Out of all the bikes that he's going to be riding this week, that's the one he loves. It's his own bike. It's effectively his own bike, and he's built that just for him, and he just loves it. You can just see he's having so much fun on it, so much aggression. Michael does have a very aggressive riding style, which doesn't normally suit a TT rider, but for the 600, he just grips it by the scruff of the neck and just gives it. And ultimately, that's what you've got to do on a 600 round here. You've got to ride them hard. You've got to push them on, because you ultimately haven't got the top speed, so you've got to force them through the corners. And it's a magical watching it on board with him on a 600 is just amazing, and you can see he's just full commitment everywhere.
Kid, for you, quite a good 600 rider. What do you make of that then, that lap?
It's ridiculous.
Simple.
Well, Michael was. I actually had the privilege of having a lap record here for one race. Because the next time we went back into the Super Sport race, I think he absolutely annihilated it. He went a mile an hour faster. I think I done 127 something, he done 128 something, and I think that's what's been the lap record, I think, since then.
128.666 it was for a wee bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that he's now over 129 mile an hour. I mean, if it wasn't that long ago, Bruce Anstey was out in a super stock bike, and John McGuinness said to me in practice, he's done 128, whatever it was. We might as well just put the bikes in the back of the van and go home. And now he's doing 129 plus on a super sport. It's gone to another level. I'm glad I'm just not out there having to try and do those speeds.
How much of an advantage do you think it is for Michael having Dean Harrison just ahead of him on number 5?
I think in the Superbike race it was, I don't know, I think Michael had a few problems in the first Superbike race, but if I was Dean, I'd probably not have picked that number. If he did pick that number, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I mean, Michael's got a carrot. and that was something I always enjoyed, apart from when it was Joe McGuinness. Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's got to be quite difficult for Dean, knowing that you've got Michael behind you. But I suppose on the flip side, if he's not catching you, you're probably going to be winning. Getting back to what you were saying about Michael being, real aggressive in the Supersport bike, of all the top 3 that I watched the other day, he looked the smoothest. I think he looked like he had the most in reserve. Not that it was much, right enough, but
yeah. But I think as well. Obviously Dino's been doing a lot of BSB. Hickey's doing a lot of BSB, and that's again what's kicked it on as well, because them boys are proper pushing the bike to the limits every weekend, and that's the way that they're coming to the TT now, riding a little bit like that as well. So they've got a getting a bit of a movement. For them, it's nothing, because they're doing that every weekend, and so it's just come crossing over onto the road. I suppose Michael's the only one that's not really riding on the short circuit so much. So Michael's just
it's awesome to watch. It's also terrifying.
Yeah, I was looking for the tyre. They were changing tyres. They were running soft tyres on the rear.
In the Supersport, he changed the rear tyre, didn't he?
Some pit stop. So they do 2 laps, just like a short circuit.
On a Supersport bike?
Yeah. Just doing 2
I noticed on a Stalker they all changed tyres.
Michael definitely changed the rear tyre,
I think he was the only one, wasn't he?
Yeah, for about 53 seconds or something like that. That was a quick pit stop by.
I bet they all changed today then.
I tell you what, it'd be
the
interesting to see
today as well.
Is what, sorry?
The heat's a bit warmer today again. The track's getting more rubbered in. There's going to be more grip. It's going to be faster. It's just every day, the more bikes going around, the more track is more grip.
You tip my 130 today in the Supersport?
I would say so, yeah. Michael wants it for sure.
SES TT0 race as well we've got going on today. I mean, we've only got about 2 minutes left, guys. We've got to look at the lightweight, which John Barton's in as well.
Oh, he's going to win
it.
Fastest he's ever been on the lightweight.
He's pumped.
He's pumped, he's on it. He feels physically sick, but he's just be sick in that little unit.
Sorry, man.
I'm okay. I'll be okay.
Somebody come and give him a damn flannel, poor lad. So the TT0 bikes, I mean, you can't really look much further than obviously Lee Johnson and your mate Michael Rutter, but of course Daley Matson looking for another podium.
Well, first of all, I'm not sure. I just hope we see the Mugans, because they haven't been out for the last 2 practices.
They were testing yesterday, I think.
They had a bit of a major component failure with Michael, and they were trying to sort that issue out. Whether they have done or not, I'm not sure. So I hope we see them on the grid, because we need as many on the grid as we can.
I wonder what happened to them. I hadn't seen them out.
They had a big issue with Michael on the second night of practice. So as a result of that component failure, they decided not to let anyone out on the bikes until they
got to the bottom of it, fixed it.
Yeah,
as they do. Japanese always get to the bottom of it.
From what I've heard, though, they've all pulled their fingers out and they've gone back to Japan. They've rebuilt it in Japan, and it's been shipped back over to the Isle of Man for today's race. Yeah.
Well, let's hope so, because it'd be great to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's because they can, and
exactly.
they will. So the TT0 then, we've got to look at that. But we've got the lightweight race as well. Again, Michael Dullop on that pattern says you can do 123, I think you said.
That's what he said to me in practice. He said, and he's only done 2 laps, and they've both been over 120. Standing start the other night, 120.8 or something. I think he'll do 123.
Keith?
I wish I'd had the crystal ball, because I'd have made a fortune at the bookies.
Would have done, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I mean, because I genuinely think every single lap record in every class is going to go this year.
Yeah,
I think the weather's obviously been a huge factor, and it's not just the sun. I think the lack of wind. I mean, there's hardly been any wind all week, so I'm excited, nervous, looking forward to it. I'll probably be hiding behind a newspaper or a magazine somewhere, but yeah, can't wait.
Richard, your thoughts on the lightweight race?
Yeah, for sure. The pattern now has just opened. The pattern is a bespoke made bike. It's a proper race bike. Whereas lots of the other bikes are all just cobbled together from bits of this and bits of that and bits of the other. Whereas the pattern, you pay 33,000 quid, you go to Pattern, and they'll give you a race bike ready to go. It's nice and light. The chassis is amazing on it. I mean, I think that's where they're making the speed. I mean, it's effectively the same engine as a Cow. It's an ER 650 engine, so they're not doing anything different with the engine. It's just purely the chassis. You can just carry through the speed, the corners that much better. It's just
I don't know. Did you watch the Northwest?
They're just little bit more aerodynamic maybe as well. I mean, it's got to be a Pattern, and Michael, like I say, is just he's in his zone.
Can Ivan run with him?
Ivan's the man. He's a super twin expert for sure. But again, I just think it's going to be a Pattern for sure. The patterns are going to be there. Poor old, Martin Jessup. He's going to be non-starter this today. I spoke to him yesterday. His engine's blown. So, unfortunately, Martin was a podium finished last year, so he's not going to be out there. So that's going to be a bit of a shame. But
it is, yeah. And of course, win at Northwest. Guys, listen, we're just about out of time. We've got to go to the news with John Moss in a moment or two. Enjoy your day. Keith's going to go hobnobbing, eating prawn sandwiches and drinking
it's not quite as simple as that. I do have to do a few things.
Okay, and I'm sure in about half an hour or so, 3/4 an hour or so, Johnny and Milky be up there, help setting up the start line up here. Milky will have the brush in hand, no doubt, doing a bit of brushing around. Boys, thank you very much for being my guest and Christy's guest this morning. Keith Amor, Richard Quayle and John Barton. Tomorrow morning we're talking race organisation. Tony Duncan, Chief Travelling Marshal, coming in. Dave Hagan, of course, he's technical guru. And we got Liz Vig and also Gareth Davis coming in, talking to us on the chat show tomorrow morning from 8. Thanks for all your contributions this morning. Have a good, safe race day, and we'll speak to you on the start line a little bit later on. But for me, Chris Kinley.
And for me, Christy DeHaven.
See ya.